Hey guys, I'm going to do a quick video here on how to repair a leaking faucet, a garden faucet, like outside off the side of your house, your hose bib. In particular, I'm going to deal with the anti-siphon valve or backflow that's on any of the more modern faucets. There are adapters that'll go on for older faucets you might see, but this is going to be most common on newer homes built within the last, I'd say probably 10-15 years even. They'll all have some variation of this. So what I'm going to show you is mostly going to deal with that, although I'll show you a little bit on how to deal with another sort of leak. So let's take a look. One of my clients contacted me about a faucet of this style. I'm pretty sure it's the identical faucet, and he's got water. When he runs it, water is leaking out from under this cap right here. What this cap is on top is an anti-siphon. It makes it so that when you turn your water on, run it, and then turn it off, you don't have two things happening. One, you don't have a block of water sitting back in this pipe, because this pipe here actually extends anywhere from 8 to 14 inches inside your house, so that that water doesn't freeze where it's connected to your water line. You don't want that pipe freezing during the winter. So this shaft goes all the way back in, and the valve is actually far inside your house on the other side of the insulation. But what will happen is when you run the water and then you turn it off, if you have a hose connected, it can't breathe any air in. It's like a straw when you stick a straw in a cup of soda and put your thumb over the top and pull it out, and how the soda will hang in the straw. That same thing will happen here. No air can get in, so it can't release the fluid. So you've got water back inside that pipe. Then the cold comes and it'll actually freeze and burst your faucet, even though you don't have the water on. So first thing, during the winter, unhook these things. But this is going to help prevent that a lot of times, and it's also going to keep water from siphoning back in into the house. You don't want to risk water that's been in this hose ever going back in. By breaking the siphon, water dumps out. Now there's air, there's no way to create a suction. So what his problem was is when he runs the hose, he said more water is coming out this top here, bubbling out underneath this cap, than is coming out the hose. So that's what I'm going to show you how to deal with today. The other thing I'm just going to touch on is if you have a leak around here, you can actually take it as far as repacking the assembly back in there, but I'm not going to get into that today. I want to get this little cap off the top, but it's really cold out today, so it's really fragile. So I'm going to just work back and forth really slow. If the weather's warm out, you're probably going to have a little easier time getting this off, but still be careful. Just go nice and slow, front and then back, back and forth. Once you've worked this cap off all the way, you're going to get to a little bonnet and poppet assembly. This is really similar to what you're going to have on your sprinkler backflow. The trick, if this isn't frozen, is just to unscrew this guy. Again, don't do this on a cold day like I'm doing. When it's warm, this will be much, much easier. You won't risk breaking it. So this little top section comes out. Inside, you've got this little tiny closer. What this does is this seats inside of here when the water pressure goes on and keeps water from coming out the top. When you turn the water off and the pressure goes away, this drops down, allows air to siphon in the top. That way all the water in this unit can flush out. So what you want to do is pull this out and just check for any debris. Now this one's clean, I knew it would be. But what you'll find is a lot of times just around here you'll find little bits of debris. So look there or inside of here, take it inside, flush it out, and when you've got it open, go ahead, turn it on and let it flush out. Check inside this top hole, just make sure that there's nothing that looks foreign there. Then we're going to just put it back together. That guy is going to go inside. whole assembly. It's just going to screw back in. Just barely snug. And pop this cap back on. Now, if you happen to break that or if it's damaged, you can buy one of those at your hardware store, Home Depot or Lowe's, something like that. The other thing, if you're leaking, if this is leaking, that should clear out the backflow, the anti-siphon. But if you are leaking around these threads, the other thing you can do is get a wrench, put a wrench on this, and a wrench on the bottom. So you'll want to grab this from the bottom and tighten it. Put a wrench on here and tighten just this inner nut right here. That's going to compress the packing around that valve, and that should stop any leaking that's happening around your handle. Either when the valve is open or closed, you'll get different leaking depending on what's going on. But if you can tighten this in just a little bit, be careful, make sure you hold this tight, or else you'll risk torquing and breaking the whole assembly off inside and causing a leak. That'd be bad. And don't over tighten this, because it can only take so much more compression than it was put together with at the factory as that wears out. Over time, if you're talking about an older faucet, when this, you'll have to pull this out and replace that packing in there, but I'm not going to deal with that today. So hopefully that helps you out.